Now on CoastTV News.
Wind and rain on the roads. It's another morning that we are feeling the effects of the nor'easter.
Good Tuesday morning. Delmarva still dealing with that pesky mist and breezy conditions, all thanks to our nor'easter that's beginning to slowly push to the east. I'll have details on when the sunshine makes a return.
Indian River bridge status. It has seen several closures during the storm. We have the latest on this key highway along the coast.
Walk off against Washington.
Kick is good.
A wild Monday night football game ends in defeat for the Burgundy and Gold.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Another rainy morning to tell you about as we get a look at Coastal Highway in Rehoboth Beach. Wet roads there. This is video from moments ago, and those roads still slick as you're getting ready to head out this morning.
And we are now taking a live look at Ocean City. Here we see active waves. We see raindrops on that camera. It's a very wet boardwalk this morning, and we have thick clouds overhead. And
we're continuing to track what this nor'easter is doing to our roads. And covering this live for us is Coast TV's Brandon Ferguson. You see him there on the right. He's in the middle of this area, and we'll check with him in just a moment. We're now in the 6 o'clock hour, attempting to come out of the nor'easter. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
Good morning, I'm Melissa Weber. Thank you for joining us. It is Tuesday, October 14th, 2025.
Yeah, once we get past the rain, it's the process of draining out all the water. And by looking at the video that we've seen over the last 24 hours, that could be an issue in some places.
Our coastal communities were significantly impacted by this nor'easter, and I think nor'easter is a word our viewers are going to get ready for us to stop saying soon.
Yeah, if we don't say it again after this week, it'll be good.
That will be a good thing, yes. And first alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobuono is going to join us. Chris, you are busy as usual, but slightly less busy this morning than yesterday morning.
Good morning, Elisa and Matt. Yeah, we're not seeing the high winds like we had yesterday morning. We had upwards of close to 60-mile-an-hour gusts along our shores, but we are seeing the winds continue and the pretty high waves, 4 to 7 foot waves there, Ocean City through Rehoboth. So the coast is being impounded with erosion, and it's all thanks to this low pressure system that really has just been pounding the coast with wind and wave action. You could see the area of low pressure just offshore, and this is going to begin weakening and lifting eastward, and then we'll finally see this mist and drizzle come to an end, and we're dealing with it right along Coastal Highway. Making your way down the coast this morning, it is a wet commute. More of the pesky variety of rain, but we're dealing with those wet roads. Quite breezy at this hour. Gust 34, Indian River Inlet, 21 in Georgetown, and we're dealing with some low clouds and fog along the coast through 2-mile visibility there in Ocean City, so use some caution. We're at 61 in Lewes, 56 Bridgeville, 58 Gumboro. Plenty of clouds through the day today as we run with highs running in the mid-60s, and the clouds will be kind of slow to clear. We're not going to see those clouds clear until it looks like late this evening through the overnight, and then we'll welcome back sunny skies for our Wednesday and much cooler air, in fact, by the end of the week. Yes, we're a late week autumn chill. We'll see how low those temperatures are going to fall in that full forecast. Matt.
Thank you, Chris. Now, here is an area that has experienced several road closures over the past 24 hours, the Indian River Inlet Bridge. And the last update from DelDOT is that all southbound lanes are open, and the left northbound lane reopened just after midnight.
And flooding has put a damper on many of our coastal roads. Bethany Beach is no different.
And that is where we find Coast TV's Brandon Ferguson. He's live in the First Alert Weather Jeep. Several roads in Bethany are currently not drivable. Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning, Matt. I want you to take a look outside of our First Alert Weather Jeep. This is the closest we could get to North Pennsylvania Avenue. You see that reflective yellow barrier straight ahead of us? That is a closure, and as you can look on the ground, you can see the flow of water. And I want you to look at these videos we just got before this live hit here. Look at these ground shots. You can see how deep the water goes, and the town has classified this as a frequent flood area. And North Pennsylvania Avenue is closed all the way from Garfield Parkway, which is the center of Bethany Beach, all the way to 5th Street, which is towards the northern end of the town. Live in the First Alert Weather Jeep, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
All right, thank you for that, Brandon. Stay safe out there. And here's what locals in New Jersey are facing as the state feels the impact of the nor'easter as well. As you can see, the storm caused significant flooding along the coast. The National Weather Service's Prediction Center said that the storm is carrying strong onshore winds, high surf, and high astronomical tides.
As we move on, we do have an update this morning in Ocean View, restoring protesting rights. That's the possibility under consideration at this afternoon's council meeting. According to the agenda, repealing a controversial ordinance relating to protests in the town could occur. This is an ordinance that requires a permit fee of $150, a 36-hour notice of a protest, and protesting between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Also with this, no masks allowed. The ACLU sent a letter to the town stating that the restrictions violates the First Amendment.
They decided to defer for a rewrite, which would require at least another 3-month process. So in the interim, an unconstitutional ordinance is still in effect here in Ocean View, and I'm very disappointed about that.
Ocean View Town Council scheduled to take this up at their 3 p.m. meeting. New this morning, a quick cleanup after, get this, a Vienna sausage-sized mess. The Delaware Republican Party posting this video to their Facebook page, and in it, you can see someone walking up to the headquarters and then leaving Vienna sausages at the building. The Delaware Republican Party has not reported any resulting damage.
New this morning, it's the final day of paid parking in Lewes. The downtown area is one of the last places to shut off its meters, as many other coastal communities did so back in September, according to the city. After today, it will no longer cost $1.50 to park downtown. Beach meters have been shut off since September 30th. But in Ocean City, paid parking does run through Halloween.
On the coast, 2 Sussex County police departments set to review state regulations and training. According to the agenda for the Rehoboth Beach and Lewes Police Accountability Committee, there's a presentation on what is expected of the committee members and also the training related to the Freedom of Information Act. The committee meets at the Lewes City Hall in just a few hours from now at 10 a.m.
Developing a plan to regulate growth in Sussex County, the Sussex County Land Use Reform Group was established in March and has had 10 meetings over several months. After creating 20 total recommendations for leaders to consider, members took a vote. Options consisted of strongly support, I can live with, oppose, and strongly oppose. We spoke to one Sussex County local who went to all of the group's 10 meetings.
I'm satisfied that they've gone about as far as they can, and that what we now see is that it has to be turned over to county council and opened up to the wider public for a discussion.
And leaders will review the recommendations in just a few hours at 9:30.
And we're now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. President Trump back at the White House after the signing of the peace deal between Israel and Hamas that his administration helped to broker. President's address to global leaders at that peace summit in Egypt came after he was in Israel to meet with released hostages.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us the next steps as phase 1 of the deal sees celebration across the world.
This morning, as President Trump returns to the White House from a Middle East trip that sought to cement peace in Gaza.
Historic day, to put it mildly.
The final 20 living Israeli hostages are waking up at home for the first time in 2 years. Joyful family reunions nourishing a nation hollowed out by their long and painful absence. Images of Hamas terrorists abducting Noah Argamani as her boyfriend, Avinatan Or, was also dragged away, were among the most searing from the October 7th attacks. Noah was rescued last year. Avinatan leaping into her arms upon his release. While in Gaza, nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners also released through the peace deal, all returning to a war-ravaged territory. President Trump joined 20 other heads of state for a peace summit in Egypt, seeking long-term solutions.
We're going to have a lot of money coming into Gaza and a lot of rebuilding and building.
The president thanking neighboring Arab states for committing to helping rebuild.
I met with many of the people in this room, and it all just started coming together.
Though so far, Israel and Hamas have agreed to just phase 1 of President Trump's 20-point peace plan, with looming questions about Hamas disarming and leaving power, and who will govern Gaza through an uncertain future. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Happening now, the Food Bank of Delaware is preparing for Thanksgiving. The organization says its annual Thanksgiving food drive takes place now through November 15th. Thousands of turkeys are expected to be given to families in need. The Food Bank of Delaware says it is in need of items such as canned vegetables, instant mashed potatoes, and of course turkeys. To find out what else people can donate and where to drop items off, head to the article on CoastTV.com.
No payoff for Washington fans who stayed up late last night. Jake Moody booted a 38-yard field goal as time expired, giving the Bears a 25-24 win over the Burgundy and Gold. Washington drops back to 500 at 3-3 and remains a game out of first behind the Eagles in the NFC East. More on the loss later on Coast TV News Today.
And we're just getting started this morning on Coast TV News Today.
Coming up, Georgetown gathers community input. Time running out for people in the county seat to make their voice heard on the future of the town.
Also, rental rules review will tell you what possible change Ocean City leaders are set to discuss amid a short-term license moratorium.
And walking for awareness, how the community came together to fight against prostate cancer. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
Good Tuesday morning, Delmarva, as we take a live look into Dover. You can see the low cloud deck there, dealing with some mist and drizzle across the peninsula. We're at 57 there. Winds out of the northeast at about 18 miles an hour, and you can see that flow off the ocean. We've been dealing with kind of a wind-driven mist this morning along Coastal Highway through Ocean City and Fenwick Island. Ocean View seeing some light rain at this hour and some light drizzle up through portions of the northern mid-shores. Some wraparound moisture begins to work around this area of low pressure that's sitting just off the coast. It's going to be exiting to the east throughout the day today. We're seeing a gust of 34 Indian River Inlet, 21 Georgetown, 25 in Ocean City. So we'll shed the showers and the drizzle this morning. We'll see cloudy skies through the afternoon with highs in the mid-50s. Coming up, we will talk about the sunshine returning and much cooler air in that 7-day forecast.
Walking for a purpose and raising awareness of prostate cancer. That's what brought hundreds of people to Cape Henlopen State Park in September. All were rallying around our own chief meteorologist, Paul Williams, a prostate cancer survivor himself. And in this week's Ties That Bind Us, Brandon Ferguson shows us how money and awareness were raised to fight this dangerous disease.
Why do we rise for prostate cancer awareness?
The community gathering together for the second annual Walk for Prostate Cancer.
3, 2, 1.
The vibes? Exceptional. The smiles, ear to ear, and the cause? Righteous.
It's really about life and death from my point of view.
Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams is a prostate cancer survivor, but winning his own battle isn't enough. Now in remission, Williams is getting the message out about the dangers of prostate cancer.
You see everyone here, second year. How does it feel just to see everyone come together and spread an awareness and the testing and the whole nine?
Well, it's humbling because, you know, you dream of something on your couch, maybe trying to make a difference, and then when it happens, it brings an awesome sense of responsibility.
Awareness is only half the battle. Testing matters too. And BB Healthcare was on site with free PSA testing. But what does that mean? Well, a PSA, or prostate-specific antigen test, it's a blood test that helps determine if you're at risk. Early testing is crucial because even though it's the second leading cause of cancer death, if prostate cancer is caught early, your chances of surviving 5 years are as high as 99%, according to the American Cancer Society.
We shouldn't lose a father, a son, a cousin, a nephew, a friend, and we shouldn't even lose an enemy. Even the enemy don't need to be lost to prostate cancer.
Patricia Dorachko's father had prostate cancer and saw how unforgiving this disease can be.
He was diagnosed with it and he had the radiation therapy, which seemed to cure it, but then it came back and it came back with a vengeance, and it spread to his bones. And it was pretty horrific to watch him go through that.
Dorachko says stories like that are the reason awareness, testing, and even research are so important.
Any money that's donated, you know, if it could create a cure, that's just even better.
Paul says men must put their pride to the side, listen to and follow the facts, And here they are. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. 1 in 6 black men will be diagnosed, the highest risk of any group. The good news is that events like the Walk for Prostate Cancer do make a difference. At this single gathering, 46 men got tested. Along with a serious message and a few needles to the arm, the Walk for Prostate Cancer was a lot of fun. Food, music, and a sense of community helped bring people together, all served up with a nice stroll and a side of education.
Closing words, get tested. Closing emotions, gratitude. Closing, don't forget, it can be you. Don't think it can't be, because it could be, and it might already be if you haven't been tested.
Because what you don't know can hurt you. And while prostate cancer is beatable, it's hard to win a fight you don't even know you're in. For the ties that bind us, I'm Brandon Ferguson.
We are about to hit 6:20 on this Tuesday morning, and you are looking live at the Delaware's capital city of Dover, I should say. And Chris, we're still dealing with that rain and wind.
Yeah, it's a nasty morning out there. We're dealing with like a wind-driven mist out there coming in right off the ocean as we see some wraparound moisture from this area of low pressure that's just kind of sitting off our shores, and it's going to continue to push to our east here throughout the morning, and we'll see this mist and drizzle activity kind of wind down through the morning. But we're dealing with a lot of low clouds out there, wet roads. It's a wet start to the morning across coastal Delaware down through Fenwick Island and into Ocean City, so take your time out there. We're also seeing about 2-mile visibility there in Ocean City as well as Easton. We're doing pretty well across much of Sussex as well as Kent counties. Cambridge doing well this morning as well. Winds gusting upwards of 34 Indian River Inlet out of the northeast. We're seeing a gust 22 in Rehoboth, 25 in Ocean City. We're at 59 in Dagsboro, 61 in Lewes, and 57 in Seaford. Now we do have a coastal flood advisory. This is up through about 8 o'clock tonight for the risk of up to a foot of inundation through high tide this afternoon. Gale warnings continue for the entire Delmarva coast through about 4 tonight, and we are looking at that coastal flood advisory Accomack and Worcester County through about 7. So minor coastal flooding primarily in the back bays, Rehoboth Bay, a little Assateague Bay, could see up to a foot of inundation there through the high tide cycle this afternoon. We're at 60 in Rehoboth. See that wave action, waves anywhere between about 4 to 7 feet today. So a lot of clouds today. It's going to be a bit slow to clear the cloud deck out. I think that doesn't happen until later this evening. See those gusts upwards of 20, 25 through the afternoon out of the northeast. And then we'll see pretty breezy conditions through the evening and into Wednesday, especially at the coast, but more of a north to northwest wind as the front comes through late in the day on Wednesday, and gusts upwards of 30 at the coast. We're looking at the clouds continuing through the day, as I mentioned, but as we get into the evening, notice the cloud deck beginning to clear from west to east, and we're looking at a mostly sunny Wednesday, and we're looking at seasonable temperatures back up to around the low 70s. Backdoor cold front comes through and gives us some really chilly air as we round out the week. There's the front pushing through. We're looking at temperatures falling into the low 40s by Thursday morning. And there you see those highs, low 60s with sunshine. Average high is 70. We do see a warm up through the weekend, but it's short-lived because a cold front's going to be arriving late Sunday through Monday, giving us a chance of rain. We're looking at dry conditions, sunshine Thursday, Friday. Cool though, low 60s. Could start in the upper 30s Friday morning, and then we're back up into the mid to upper 70s for the weekend. Matt.
Thank you, Chris. In Ocean City, the future of a moratorium on short-term rental licenses is up for debate. The pause went into effect at the beginning of the year. Now the Ocean City Council and Mayor Rick Meehan are taking it up at Tuesday's workshop. This comes months after the town put a temporary hold on new rental licenses in R1 and MH areas. And while the council says it believes this was done in good faith, some people living in Ocean City think it's an overuse of government power.
They're going to restrict a person's ability to use their property as they had intended. I'm not in favor of, government telling people how to live their lives.
Any rentals that are 31 days or more, they're still allowed. Year-round rentals, seasonal rentals, the monthly rentals, those aren't being affected by this. It's just those short-term rentals.
And if the council opts to extend the moratorium, they will then need to determine for how long and if they want additional regulations.
Up next on Coast TV News today, Georgetown gathers community input. What area leaders are focusing on as the survey collects local opinions. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
In Georgetown, planners want input from people living in the town on the future of downtown. Today is the last day to complete a development survey. Town officials say this is to help with growth improvements and other community plans, and people can access this survey online.
The Shelbyville Winter Celebration has some new updates. The event will host the Children's Entrepreneur Market on Saturday, December 6th. This year, the event will not be open on November 29th. Instead, they have added events to the 25th and the 26th of November. Tickets for Shelbyville will go live on October 21st at 6 p.m. And unfortunately, we have another gloomy day on the coast, but there is a positive. It's not going to be as rainy or windy.
You're so positive.
I try.
I know.
I try.
Now, we do know that drought's going to take place, Chris, but then it's the cleanup along the coast.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of coastal flooding and inundation and beach erosion, but thankfully, the heavy rain and the high winds are behind us. We're seeing a lot of low clouds out there this morning, especially along the coast. We're at 59 degrees in Lewes, and we've seen kind of a wind-driven mist throughout the morning. Now, we do still have coastal flood advisories. These run through the high tide cycle this afternoon. We could see up to a foot of inundation through the back bays. Coastal flood advisory up through Accomack and Worcester counties as well. And we do have that gale warning that's up for the entire Delmarva coast. That runs through this evening as well. So a few of those showers and drizzly conditions this morning through Fenwick Island and Ocean City. By the afternoon, we should be dry but cloudy. Same for Lewes and Rehoboth Beach with highs in the mid to upper 60s as we make our way over to Cambridge, starting out in the 50s, rising into the mid 60s with the mostly cloudy skies. It's not going to be till late this evening where we begin to see that clearing take place. Liz Rangan, Milton, Delaware, you're the winner of our Coast TV weather umbrella, and you can always get your forecast by dialing the First Alert weather phone. We'll have a look at when the sunshine returns coming up in that next half hour.
All right, thank you, Chris. And after the break on Coast TV News today, moving on from parking meters, we'll tell you the latest coastal community to end their paid parking season, but also what areas will still charge you.
Also, possible rules repeal, why Ocean View's taking another look at an already approved ordinance.
And conditions on the coast will give you a real-time, first-hand look at what may be awaiting you outside as you begin to start your day. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Indian River road issues, the open and close situation for this part of Coastal Highway due to flooding. What is its status this morning?
Good Tuesday morning. Delmarva still dealing with that pesky mist and breezy conditions, all thanks to our nor'easter that's beginning to slowly push to the east. I'll have details on when the sunshine makes a return.
Free speech fight.
An unconstitutional ordinance is still in effect here in Ocean View.
What Ocean View's Town Council could take action on later today in the controversy over regulating protests.
Managing massive growth. That is the intent of the Sussex County Land Use Reform Group, where their effort stands today ahead of a council meeting.
This is Coast TV News Today.
And we are beginning this morning by taking a live look outside at Dewey Beach. Right now on Coastal Highway, this is our view. We are not seeing rain currently coming down on our camera, but we are seeing slick roads, so be careful as you are driving this morning. And as we can tell by the shaking of our camera, it is windy outside as well.
There's some wind there. Okay, let's get a live look at Lewes. This is the canal. Overall, you're not seeing the choppy waves in the canal there on this early Tuesday morning scene.
And back to the roads, and it's not just the small ones. Main highways like Route 1 have had their fair share of flooding issues. And covering this live for us is Coast TV's Brandon Ferguson, who's on the road near the Delaware coast.
Yeah, we're going to get to Brandon in a moment, but this is how we're starting this half hour. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Lisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
6:32 a.m. and I think we're looking for a return to normal conditions. That'd be nice.
That would be nice. But again, there's a lot of cleanup after the storm that we've experienced on the coast. And to talk more about our weather today is First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobuono. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Elisa and Matt. A pleasant good morning, Delmarva. Yeah, we've been dealing with this coastal low for the last 3 days and it's been pounding the coast with wave action, beach erosion. You could see there in Rehoboth and Ocean City and some choppy waters there in the Indian River Bay. But this coastal low is beginning to push to the east, and we'll eventually see this wraparound moisture wind down through the morning. We've been dealing with a wind-driven mist, especially along the coast, so it's been a wet commute there down Coastal Highway through Lewes, down through Fenwick Island and Ocean City, and quite breezy at this hour, especially at the coast where gusts anywhere from 22, Rehoboth 33, Indian River Inland as high as 25. We're not seeing the 50 to near 60 mile an hour winds like we had yesterday morning. Also seeing some fog out there, especially along the coast. 2-mile visibility there. Ocean City, we're down to 2 miles in Easton. We're at 59 in Milton, 58 Long Neck, and 61 in Ocean City. So we'll shed the mist through the morning. By the afternoon, it's dry, but still breezy and cloudy with temperatures only in the mid-60s. The cloud deck will finally clear late this evening into the overnight, and we welcome back sunny skies just in time for our Wednesday, and it is going to be very nice, and we're going to see plenty of sunshine and cooler temperatures by the end of the week. We'll talk more about that a little later on. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. And here's an area that gets plenty of attention when big coastal storms hit. This is Coastal Highway between Dewey Beach and Bethany Beach and the Indian River Inlet Bridge. It's there in the distance. You can see the lights from that bridge. Our camera view, though, not the clearest, as those conditions this morning still are not the greatest outside.
Yeah, this had some closures over the night due to flooding. Our latest update from DelDOT is at the left northbound lane that reopened just after midnight, so it's been open for a few hours now, and then all southbound lanes are also open.
The south of that bridge in Fenwick Island is where we're going to find Coast TV's Brandon Ferguson. Brandon, Fenwick Island is swamped like the rest of Delmarva.
Elisa and Matt, take a look outside of our first alert weather Jeep on West Dagsboro Street. Now there's a water on road sign just to the left of the Jeep, but you can see the coastal flooding setting in here as well. And this is on much of every street on the bay side of Fenwick Island, West Dagsboro Street, West Essex Street, and Farmington Street as well. And we're just a block away from the bay, and you can see how the water is just making its way through Fenwick Island. And just traveling here, Coastal Highway seems clear, but it's when you get to these roads on the bay side and back roads on Fenwick Island near the Route 54 bridge in Fenwick Island as well. For now, in the first alert weather Jeep, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
Thank you for that report, Brandon. We've got an update this morning as we move along from Ocean View. Restoring protesting rights. That's the possibility under consideration at this afternoon's council meeting. According to the agenda there, repealing a controversial ordinance relating to protests in town could occur. This is an ordinance that requires a permit fee of $150, a 36-hour notice of a protest, protesting only between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., and also no masks allowed. The ACLU sent a letter to the town stating that the restrictions violate the First Amendment.
New this morning, it's the final day of paid parking in Lewes. The downtown area is one of the last places to shut off its meters, as many other coastal communities did so back in September. According to the city, after today, it will no longer cost $1.50 to park downtown. Beach meters were shut off on September 30th, but if you're going further south to Ocean City, paid parking will run through Halloween.
Developing a plan to regulate growth in Sussex County, the Land Use Reform Group, that was established in March, and they've held 10 meetings over the past several months, and they've created 20 total recommendations for the county council to consider. According to Sussex County Administrator Todd Lawson, the council is prepared to work on this project. They're reviewing the recommendations at their 9:30 a.m. meeting. Happening now, the Food Bank of Delmarva preparing for Thanksgiving. The organization says its annual Thanksgiving food drive takes place now through November 15th. Thousands of turkeys are expected for distribution to families in need, and the food bank says it is in need of items such as canned vegetables, instant mashed potatoes, and of course turkeys. To find out what else people can donate and where to drop all that off, you can head to the article on CoastTV.com.
We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. There are rising trade tensions between the United States and China. President Donald Trump is set to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping this month. Many investors are hoping they'll lower the temperature.
Yeah, but as Amy Kiley shows us, that's not what's happening at U.S. ports today.
Can we find some way to kind of coexist with China as we still are strategic rivals?
Today, the U.S. and China are imposing new port fees on each other's ships. amid the threat of more tariff hikes. That's according to the U.S. Trade Representative and the Chinese Ministry of Transport. The fees are another import cost for businesses on top of duties.
We're in a pattern of escalation and now hopefully towards de-escalation, paving the way for President Trump to meet with Xi Jinping just a couple of weeks from now in Korea.
The port fees are part of escalating trade policies between the two countries. Chinese analysts accuse the U.S. of starting this latest tit-for-tat by imposing new export controls last month. They say that's why China recently tightened restrictions on rare earth minerals. They're important for cars, electronics, and semiconductors. As a result, President Donald Trump is threatening a triple-digit tariff hike on Chinese imports by November 1st. Beijing is warning of retaliation if that happens, but both sides say they'd prefer a resolution. In a social media post Sunday, Trump says, quote, "Don't worry about China, it will all be fine. And the USA wants to help China, not hurt it."
The 100% tariff does not have to happen. I imagine that I will have some contact with my counterpart and then the two leaders will meet.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
New overnight, President Trump led a peace signing ceremony in Egypt on Monday. The document supported the ceasefire reached in Gaza, which ended the Israel-Hamas war and developed a long-term vision to rebuild the devastated Palestinian territory. President Trump joined 20 other heads of state for a peace summit in Egypt seeking long-term solutions.
We're going to have a lot of money coming into Gaza and a lot of rebuilding and building.
The summit unfolded soon after Hamas released 20 remaining living Israeli hostages, and Israel started to free hundreds of Palestinians from its prisons, crucial steps under the ceasefire.
And we got a lot more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, holiday hiring begins. We'll tell you how many jobs Amazon expects to create ahead of the busy season.
Also, Monday Night Football epic finish. They were about to call it a comeback, but it ends up being a heartbreaking loss for Washington against the Bears.
And grain equipment given, we'll tell you how one Sussex County agency is getting this and new training that could help save lives. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
Good Tuesday morning, Delmarva, as we take a live look into Lewes, a cloudy Lewes. We've been dealing with mist, drizzly conditions through the morning. We're at 59 degrees there, winds out of the north at about 8 miles an hour. Most of the drizzle and the mist we've seen is now synced southward through Fenwick Island into Ocean City, and some more wraparound moisture pushing into the northern midshore as well as Kent County. Here's that area of low pressure just off our coast. It's going to weaken and advance eastward. In doing so, we're going to gradually be clearing out through the morning as far as the showers are concerned. 34-mile-an-hour gust there, Indian River Inlet, so pretty breezy morning at the coast, and it will be a rather cloudy day as the showers come to an end. We'll finally shake the clouds out of here by this evening into the overnight. We'll talk more about that when the sunshine returns in that 7-day forecast. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. New this morning, a Sussex County fire company is getting new life-saving tools to help protect farmers in emergencies. The Frankfort Volunteer Fire Company has received a grain rescue tube and specialized training. According to the Delaware Farm Bureau, the new equipment will help first responders save lives during grain entrapments. The training included hands-on rescue simulations using a mobile grain entrapment simulator.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Outside D.C. last night, the Commanders hosted the Bears for a second straight season. I don't need to remind the Washington faithful how last year played out, with a Jaden Daniels Hail Mary being answered by the guy behind me, Noah Brown. With Brown and Terry McLaurin injured this go-around, would Washington get so lucky? Quarterback battle, number 1 pick in 2024, Caleb Williams, against the number 2 pick, Jaden Daniels and his Commanders. 6-0 Chicago before Caleb Williams makes it 13-0 after the extra point, calling his own number early in the second quarter. We go to the second half and the fourth quarter. This is where Jaden Daniels shines. NFC East legend Zach Ertz with the touchdown. 8-point Washington lead. DeAndre Swift with a little hezzy on the sideline and a burst of speed for a 55-yard score. They don't get the 2. They're down 2 with 3 minutes left, and a gift from the football gods. Jaden Daniels with his 3rd turnover of the night. Chicago recovers. Now, do you remember this guy? This is Jake Moody, Former 49er kicker got cut a couple weeks ago. He makes 4 kicks tonight, including the game winner from 38 yards out. Chicago, jubilation. They take down Washington on the road.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 5:30, we have live Delaware High School soccer when Salesianum Anthem takes on Cesar Rodney. And catch the final score at 10:30. Along with that soccer match, you got plenty of boys soccer on DSN+. 3:45, MOT Charter goes up against Archmere. At 4, it's Decatur and Bennett. Salisbury School travels to Worcester Prep. 6 p.m., we have some field hockey for you. Cape hosting Newark Charter.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com/signup and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Live at 4 p.m.
Hope you're enjoying your Tuesday so far, and we hope you join us today at 4 o'clock on Coast Life because we've got another great debate for you. We are talking scary movies or ghost stories, which is your preference. We've also got another dish of the week for you to check out from our friends at Benvenuto. All of that and so much more is happening today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
And it's a dreary, damp start to our Tuesday, but we're going to shake the showers out. We'll have plenty of clouds through the afternoon and then eventually clear the clouds out. The sun is going to make a return. I'll have details on when that arrives and when some even cooler temperatures arrive to Delmarva. It's all coming up next.
The time is now 6:48 and we are taking a live look outside at Lewes this morning. It looks like it's clear out there right now, Chris. Not seeing raindrops on our camera. You were talking about mist today, which can just be annoying, but you know what? We'll take the mist after the past couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, it's this coastal low has just been pounding the coast with high wind and high surf, and the rain, you know, we had a heavy bout of rain there earlier in the week, but for the most part, the rain has been more of the nuisance variety. There's that area of low pressure off the coast. It's going to eventually push eastward, and we're going to see kind of this wraparound shower activity come to an end through the morning. It's been a rather damp start to the day across the peninsula, especially along Coastal Highway, where we've seen that wind-driven mist and drizzle. Also seeing some low clouds and fog from Fenwick Island down through Chincoteague, visibility down to 2 miles there in Ocean City. It's also been breezy. Can't shake the winds, right? The wind coming off the ocean, northeast gusts about 34 Indian River Inlet, 25 in Ocean City. We're holding at 61 Bethany Beach, 59 in Milton, 56 Bridgeville. We have a coastal flood advisory up through 8 o'clock tonight through the high tide cycle. This afternoon could see up to a foot of inundation, especially through those back bays. Coastal flood advisory, Accomack, Worcester, that's up through 7. And we also have these gale warnings continuing through about 4 o'clock. So there's that minor coastal flooding issue through this afternoon. Up to a foot of inundation, primarily, especially across places like Rehoboth Bay, a little Assawoman Bay. So keep that in mind through this afternoon. It's a wet morning there along the boardwalk in Rehoboth. We're at 59 degrees there. We're going to shed the showers early, but we're going to stay with the clouds through the afternoon today, with temperatures in the mid-60s. There's that northeast wind gusting upwards of 25, 30 miles an hour, especially at the coast through the evening. Wind shifting more out of the north-northwest into Wednesday. That's all ahead of a cold front that's going to be dipping southward through the afternoon and into the evening on Wednesday. So we stayed with the clouds through the afternoon. By late in the afternoon, early evening, we see some breaks in those clouds mid-shore, and then we're looking at that cloud deck to be clearing through the area through the overnight, and we welcome back sunny skies by our Wednesday, and it's going to be a gorgeous afternoon. And then that cold front pushes through late in the day and drops temperatures back into the low 40s come Thursday morning. There's that backdoor cold front pushing southward through the latter part of the day on Wednesday, and we're looking at some really cool air to end the week. Average high 70, and look at those highs. 62 by Thursday, 63 into Friday with sunshine. And the wind will shift more to the southwest as we go into the weekend, and that will allow for warmer air to move in, and then another chance of rain rolls in late Sunday through Monday. But we have wall-to-wall sunshine Wednesday through Friday. We start the weekend off very nicely, 73, 76 Sunday. Most of the weekend is dry. Looks like that rain holds off until late Sunday night through Monday. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. Amazon announced it's hiring 250,000 people for the holiday season. It's the same number as the last 2 years. It includes regular, full-time, part-time, and seasonal jobs. They'll work for the online retail giant's fulfillment and transportation network across the United States. The jobs will be posted online through December.
A multi-billion-dollar deal is bringing together two tech companies to develop and deploy custom artificial intelligence microchips in computing systems. OpenAI and Broadcom plan to deploy 10 gigawatts of AI chips over the next 4 years, starting in the second half of next year. Now, 10 gigawatts, that's enough electricity to power a large city.
It is 6:52, and we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
Yeah, if you missed it last hour, we have a bittersweet announcement. Our familiar friend, Esmeralda, has passed away. Tammy Millsborough says if all dogs go to heaven, a special one just arrived, and we think the same. Tammy thanks Coast TV for making 19-year-old Esmeralda a star, and we know Esmeralda lived a very happy life and was very much loved.
19 is an incredible life, and we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them special. You can take a look at your screen.
That's where that QR code is, top center. Scan that, get your friends to Coast TV News, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
It is 6:55, and it's time for the things you need to know before you go. It's the final day of paid parking in Lewes. The downtown area is one of the last places to shut off its meters, as many other coastal communities did so back in September. According to the city, after today, it will no longer cost $1.50 to park downtown. Beach meters have been shut off since September 30th. If you are headed south to Ocean City, paid parking runs through Halloween.
In Ocean View, restoring protesting rights, that's the possibility under consideration at this afternoon's council meeting. According to the agenda, repealing a controversial ordinance relating to protest is being discussed. It requires a permit fee of $150, 36-hour notice, and protesting only between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Also with this ordinance, no masks are allowed. The ACLU sent a letter to the town saying putting time restrictions and requiring the 36-hour notice, that violates the First Amendment.
It is 6:56, and we're going to take another look at your forecast before you head out the door.
Yeah, Chris, I think for everybody. We are ready for the rain to end.
Yeah, we're ready for this coastal storm to get out of here. You know what? We've been dealing with a lot of rain, wind, and coastal flooding here over the last 2 days, and we're going to see that shower activity, the mist, the drizzle, continue at least through the morning, and I think by the afternoon it dries, but we're going to keep the cloud cover really in play through the day today. It's not really until this evening where we see the clouds clear. Temperatures mid to upper 60s today, and then the sun returns for our Wednesday, 71. Cold front comes through late Wednesday, and look at the drop in temperature, 62 for a high Thursday. Sunny skies, though, for the rest of the week, and then we are looking at a very nice weekend, in fact, milder, pushing into the mid to upper 70s, and then we're tracking a cold front late Sunday through Monday that will bring another round of rain to the area.
All right, thank you, Chris, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News today.
And the Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
Then we'll be back for Coast TV News midday at 11.
And for even more news and coverage you can count on, download our Coast TV News and weather apps. Have a great Tuesday morning, everybody.